What's up, guys? As you can see, we're back in the shop. We are going to be working on Bad Blood. The new 1969 Camaro just got home. We are already taking it apart. We've already dropped the transmission and converter out of it, changed the stator, put it back together, so everything inside the car is good. We do have a little checklist that we'll get to here in a little while, but this video, we are going to be pulling this rear end out of the car. Yes, brand new rear end, had it bought for it, but I am now upgrading and moving on to a 11-inch housing. So I hit up Marty Marilat and asked him if he would build me a 11-inch housing for this car. He got it knocked out of the park. It just showed up. So now we're gonna go ahead and take this strange 10-inch housing out of the car, and we're gonna swap it out and put this new piece in here. As you can see, when I turn this thing around, this thing is beautiful. It just came in. A brand new 11-inch housing from Marty Marilat. You can see that. Yes, it is clear coated. It's badass. And man, I just want to thank Marty and the guys for knocking this out pretty quick. His wife, from what I hear, his wife does all the welding. She is a badass welder. And then it gets clear coated. So that's why it has that look to it. No, it will not rust. He's already went through. He's already deburred all the holes, got everything ready. He said we should be able to just throw it inside the car and get ready. We have our Noonan motor right over here. It is ready to go. It is freshened up. We have the motor inside the car. That one's 100% fresh up, ready to go. If you've seen a couple videos back where I basically slung rods out of one of my engines. It's getting fixed, and I did order a new motor. Noonan has a new piece out, so we are in line to be able to get that done and get it ready. They are working on that to get it to us. Hopefully to have it before or just a little after, you know, the first couple races of NPK. Whenever we do get the new motor in, we'll kind of set them side by side and basically show you the difference of, other than, you know, performance and horsepower difference, but the difference, the little upgrades that they did. A little badass piece. But as you can see, everything is inside here. I really didn't show too much of the car on the last video of revealing it, but it's got all nice piece. This is a brand new engine, like I said, so you know, all the billet and everything looks brand new. Shout out to RC Comp for getting us our wheels for the front and the rear of this car. The guys are under there right now. They're basically waiting on me. So we're going to be tearing this apart with y'all and swapping it over to our new 11-inch setup and getting that put inside the car. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We'll go out there and crack somebody's ass. All right, guys, so now that we hopped up under the car, it is a little dark in here. I have the batteries out of the car because, one, I was in the process of swapping over, and also I sold my, you know, batteries that were in here that I ran last year. I sold them to Uncle Mike. So we're back underneath here now. Very minimal light. We are getting the shock sensors and the shocks off. Once we get that off, then we're going to go ahead and undo the anti-roll links. We're going to allow the rear end to come down, and then we're going to basically unhook our 4-link bars and then be able to pull this rear end out. It doesn't have a center section or anything in it right now, so we're good. We're just going to go ahead and swap this over, get it out of the car, and then go over and put it on our bench and swap it all over. Be a quick little process, but we're just looking at everything. But look how badass this car is. This car is extremely nice. I can't wait to get out and start testing it. Looking forward, going through and seeing what we can do. Does that scare you?
I just don't.
Easiest way to do that is to put your finger on the back end of it down there, so whenever you're pulling it off like that, you can hurry up and grab the nut.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Guys, rear end, it's coming out. It's like a 10-minute job. Hopefully we don't ever have to change the whole rear end at the track, but
Shouldn't have to.
quick little 10-minute section deal. But we're taking the 4-link bars. Leave the bolts in it. Just take all the nuts off the back side. And then we'll go ahead and pull it out and get it put on the table. All right, guys, so we got the rear end out of the car. Pretty quick little smooth process. We will be using the same brake lines to go over on this side. New 11-inch housing looks killer, but so does that strange housing. We will have to take, you know, the brakes and the calipers and the axles out of this housing, and we will be using it for this housing here. Good thing about it was I was able to give Marty all the measurements, and he is was able to basically build us a deal that is identical to this housing, so we could keep all of our measurements and everything inside the car good to go. So we're gonna go ahead and start swapping this thing over, getting it ready, and then we're gonna throw it back in the car, and then tomorrow we will be setting up the chassis, getting it 100% ready before we throw our brand new carbon fiber wheelie bars on the car. So guys, before we wanted to go through and make all the changes, I wanted to make sure that this housing was going to fit, and it does. I had no doubts, but I just always make sure I check. And then also when I get a new center section or gear in, we make sure that the splines are the same and they go in there. So that you can see now, that is the rear center section that will be going in there. It's a Lazarus 11-inch deal. And we're about to start slapping it together and put it back in the car. Finally got everything suited up. The only thing that I need to do tomorrow, I will run up to our local, parts store uptown, and I will be getting some new line to make brake lines for the rear. As you can see, it is ready to go. Needs to go back inside the car. I do got to change the sensor out. I'm going to change that sensor out real quick and put that on here. Marty did make a sensor. It's a ride height sensor for the rear of the car. We run a ride height sensor on the front of the car that, basically when the car goes out there and it starts wheeling, if it gets a little out of control, we'll be able to pull some timing out of it. The ride height sensor in the rear is just basically showing us, if the car's squatting, separating, what's going on with the rear end while it's going down the track. So this car has every sensor you could possibly think of to put on there. So I'm gonna swap those out real quick. Marty did send us some badass billet brackets to be able to hold our shocks. So we will be making sure that we get those on there as well. But that thing looks gangster. It looks awesome. And I can't wait to get it in the car, get the chassis all completely set up and ready to go. I mean, man, I'm more excited about going to run this car. I will be keeping this rear end. I'm not going to get rid of it because, as you can see right here, this is all bolt together stuff. So in the beginning, Strange didn't make a housing wide enough for 16-inch 4-link centers to be able to run a radial setup. Now they do. Now they make all the way up to a 45-inch flange to flange center, which is plenty big enough for us to run the radial setup. So if we ever wanted to put this car on radials, or if we wanted to put this rear end in one of the other cars because they are 16-inch 4-link centers, then we would be able to buy the extenders, take these off, bolt the other ones on, and then have a housing for a radial tire setup. So we're not going to be getting rid of that. We will be putting it over in our little parts deal. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to my guys. They got everything organized. We did get power in the shop. As you can see, we got one set of lights over there that run off a switch. This set of lights over here runs off a separate switch. We got the lifts, everything working. We got the shop a little bit more organized since the last time you've seen it. A lot of things going up on the top of the loft, and we got basically everything over here for the cars. Prenup, Servincit, blood money, and bad blood. All the parts and everything that goes with it to be able to move forward. It's just another step for us to be able to get this car on the track so we can get tested and get ready for season 7 and BK. Everything is starting to come together. We're going to be able to knock this thing out, hopefully be testing by the end of the month. I also have Wizard, Jason over at Wizard Race Cars, building me a new windshield. I wanted to put a clear windshield. This thing has a smoke windshield on it, and as you can see right there, it is kind of hard to see inside the car. Yes, it is a little bit dirty, but we have a lot of light in here. When we're at the racetrack, we don't really have all this light, so I don't want to have issues seeing the track or trying to find a return road. So we are going to put a clear windshield. I run a clear windshield throughout all my other cars. When we were getting ready for PRI with this car, we didn't have the clear windshield material, so we had to go with this dark windshield. And I said, you know what, I'm going to test it when I get home. But just sitting in the car and looking through everything, I could already tell that I'm going to be a little antsy about it. So we are going to be changing the windshield out. Other than that, everything is pretty much ready to go. We will be setting the chassis up. We'll line the front end. We do have, helper springs on the way that's going to take this slack out right there. So we will be able to get that all going. Shout out to Penske for getting us our shocks and our struts on the car. RC Comp for getting our wheels. Noonan Race Engines, Mark Mickey, Marty Marilat for getting this rear end done for us to be able to put inside the car, and Modern Racing for all the help to be able to get this car ready to go down the track. And a big shout out to my sponsors, Todd at Hormone Logics, Type A Motorsports, Tree Mart. We have, Strange Engineering, Marty Marilat, rear end housings right here, Modern Racing, Fuel Tech stuff just came in, Braille Batteries. A lot of sponsors are coming on board and helping us out to be able to keep doing this. And I want to thank y'all, Swan Gang, because without y'all, I wouldn't be able to do this. So what I'm going to do is, in this video, this is what you got to do. You got to like this video. You got to drop a comment, and you have to be following me on Instagram. I'm going to put my Instagram handle right here, right now. If you like this video, drop a comment. And if you are following me on Instagram, I will be giving somebody down here that has all 3 of those accomplished $200. So all you got to do is like this video, drop a comment, and go follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Justin Swanstrom. We post a lot of content, keep moving forward with that, and that's how we're going to keep growing. So we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. I wouldn't be able to do this without y'all. It's late out here. It's midnight right now. We're about to get out of the shop. We're going to end up getting the rear end put back in later on, and we'll finish this deal out, and we're that much closer to heading to the racetrack so we can take Bad Blood and see what it'll do to get ready for season 7 of Street Outlaw No Prep Kings.